Christiana Grigore studies at Vanderbilt University in the U.S. state of Tennessee on a prestigious Fulbright scholarship. Grigore is Romanian. She is also Romani, or Roma, part of an ethnic group often referred to as Gypsies. She says most Americans know very little about her people.
Most of the Americans I met don't know much about Romani people. They know about Gypsy, but not as a real ethnic group, like real people. They see it more like a Halloween costume or role that you play once per year.
In the United States, Roma are often associated with a distant, even exotic culture. On Gypsy Lane in Philadelphia, a resident is not sure how a street got its name, but he is sure that there are not any Gypsies living here.
I would think it was very few. Estimate, I would think it's, 0.01% of the population or something very minimal.
In fact, though, University of Texas professor Ian Hancock says as many as 1 million Roma live in the U.S. He says there have been waves of Roma immigration since the early 1800s. Hancock, who previously served as a Romani representative at the UN, says that historically it has been easy for Roma to blend in while holding on to their traditions. Doing so, however, has not been without consequence.
Here, being an immigrant country, you get people of all backgrounds, of all complexions and appearances. And so Roma don't stand out as in opposition to white in the same way, which has helped to foster the idea that Gypsy is a behavior and not an ethnicity.
Hancock maintains the Romani Archives and Documentation Center. His collection includes books, pictures, and movies that he says encourage this distorted image of Roma.
The media can get away with saying things about Roma that they wouldn't dare say about other minority populations.
This includes the entertainment industry even today.
'Cause I'm a gypsy. Are you coming with me? I might steal your clothes and wear them if they fit me.
Faye Williams is a third-generation Romani American who lives with her family in Texas. She says images like this have stuck.
Most people don't even have a clue about our people. They think, it's just people running around stealing little kids and chickens.
Williams says that growing up, she was told not to tell people she was Romani. Despite the stereotypes, though, she says the ability of her people to blend in has been a blessing rather than a curse, especially when compared to Europe.
I think it was the greatest thing in the world that happened to us, when our folks come over here, because people from all the countries was coming in. It was like a melting pot. And so it was so easier to blend in and to move around and work and do that we had it 100 times better than anybody overseas.
But Christiana Grigore says American cultural diversity is what prompted her to talk publicly about her Romani identity for the first time. She contrasts this to perceptions in her home country of Romania, where Roma still experience discrimination.
Imagine it took me 20 years to talk about my ethnic identity. So imagine how strong the negative stereotypes are.
Grigore, an amateur ballet dancer, says she has not experienced racism in the United States. In fact, she says her ethnic heritage has been an asset.
When I talk about me as a Gypsies, people are like, oh, that's so cool. It's like my life is suddenly more interesting.
Some Romani Americans, however, say discrimination is still a substantial burden in the U.S., especially when it comes to the workplace. In part 2, we discuss the stigma associated with some traditional Romani occupations. Glenn Cates, Voice of America.